Hello, my name is Micah Everett. I'm the low brass professor at the University of Mississippi, and this video is to provide some tips and demonstration on the faster etude for year B for trombone and euphonium, this number 11 tempo di bolero. I want to start with some general practice tips, then some tips specific to this etude, and then finally a demonstration video. So the general tips that I'm going to give are pretty much the same in all of these videos that I've made. And apply to really everything that you're going to play. The first of these is that you should practice every day. I mean, yeah, you can have a day off every now and then, but as a general rule, you want to have that horn on your face in some regular systematic practice session each day. Why? Well, sure, so you can learn the notes and rhythms to the things that you're practicing, but also so that you develop the strength and flexibility that you need in the muscles and tissues of the embouchure. That's really important, especially for brass players. The second thing I want to say is have a consistent daily routine of fundamental exercises like long tones and lip slurs and such, as well as scales and arpeggios. Chances are your band director has you doing something like this in class every day that you can also use for individual practice. But if you need some materials or are just interested in trying other things, you can visit the website there at the top of the screen, and there are some sets of exercises there that you might want to take a look at. The third thing I want to say is that you want to use a metronome when you practice. Now, you want to use that to establish tempo. You also want to use that to help you practice slowly as you work to get the notes under your fingers or into your slide arm. But one thing people don't think about a lot with metronome practice or etude preparation, especially with something faster like this, that you actually want to get to where you practice faster than the tempo that you're trying for. It may not even be all that great at the faster tempo, but if you can even kind of get it, say 25% above the tempo you're shooting for, what you're going to find is that when you go back to the tempo that's marked, it's going to feel easy and relaxing rather than frantic and terrifying. All right, now some specific thoughts on this etude. Number one is that word bolero. And that refers to a Spanish dance in 3/4 time. Now, you don't have to know much about the dance itself. You just need to know that it's a dance and that it should have a light and dancing feel. That affects articulation, particularly for these staccato articulations. I recommend using the syllable di, like di, 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 di. And notice that I'm not putting a T at the end of that. You don't want to say dit, 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 dit. That makes the notes ironically longer. You're trying to shorten them. When you tongue stop, it makes them too long, and it just deprives them of all the tone that you want to have. So, dit, 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 with no T at the end of the notes really does help. Next, also speaking of articulation, the contrast between the leggero or lightly tongued portion and then the legato that's there in the middle. Legato, refers to connecting the notes. On trombone and euphonium both, it requires a constant airflow. If you're legato tonguing on the trombone, yeah, we tongue lightly, sure, but really it's the constant airflow that makes the notes be connected. Slurring on the euphonium is really the same way. There's more to it than just moving the valves. You have to have the air flowing smoothly through the instrument as you do that. So really making the most of that contrast between leggero and legato. And the last thing I'll say is about phrasing. These dynamic contrasts matter. Sometimes in faster etudes, we worry so much about the notes and moving fast or tonguing fast or doing whatever that we don't think about phrasing. And yet when you can make a beautiful phrase, even in the more technically challenging materials, you'll find that your score is that much higher and the performance that much more pleasing. Well, good luck. I hope you found those tips and that demonstration to be helpful to you. And remember to visit olemiss.edu/lowbrass for more information, tips, and exercises to help you play your best.